A bunch of billionaires just bought 55,000 acres in Silicon Valley. And this is why this is way more horrifying than this article makes it out to be. And y'all might want to pay attention to this one. For years, a nearly $900 million land buying operation in Solano County had stumped local, state, and federal officials, including the military. Everyone was in the dark on who exactly was buying up all this land. In fact, this secretive group of billionaires since 2018 had been buying up more than 52,000 acres of land, making them the largest landowner in the country. This group turned out to be Flannery Associates, backed by a group of prominent Silicon Valley investors, including venture capitalist, the LinkedIn co-founder and investment banker from Goldman Sachs, and the wife of the late Steve Jobs. Now, why would this secretive organization of billionaires want to become the largest landowners in America? Turns out they want to build a utopia. Their dream is to establish a new city with homes of various sizes and cost, with walkable neighborhoods close to shops and schools, and open spaces around the community, according to their website. Brian Brokaw, on behalf of California Forever, one of their backers, says, "We are grateful to our elected officials for allowing us the chance to discuss our vision to deliver good-paying jobs, affordable housing, walkable communities, clean energy, sustainable infrastructure, open space, and a healthy environment." Well, that doesn't sound so bad, except one of the ways they acquired this land that they want to build their utopia on was by screwing farmers. They filed a bunch of frivolous federal lawsuits against a group of farmers alleging a price-fixing scheme, and the farmers could not afford the legal fees. And so many of the farmers took deals just to avoid being sued to oblivion, essentially getting thrown off the land. Also, why does a bunch of rich people trying to build a utopia sound so familiar? Oh, that's right, because it's company towns, or as PBS calls it, slavery by another name. Company towns are a part of our past and possibly our future. Amazon's new factory towns will lift up the working class. Yeah, that's what they always said to draw people in. I mean, reading about the history of these company towns, you see a lot of the same things these new billionaires are saying. I mean, back in the 1800s, they also built it to be a utopia, promising schools, libraries, churches, and like to encourage a healthy lifestyle within the community. But here's what happened. You and your family went to work for the company town, and you got a nice little house, and you got a well-paying job. And the company paid you in company money that could be used at the company store and could be used to be paid for your company house. But once you were in, the prices skyrocketed. Imagine, if you will, the airport. You know how frustrating it is that you can't bring water and food into the airport, and then once you get in, the prices are skyrocketed because you have no choice. You can't just leave. Company towns. So you would rack up debt, and essentially you would find yourself in indentured servitude. Company towns thrived at a failing economy and a struggling American workforce. Many people had no other options but to join these company towns. And we're seeing about the same thing right now. Half of Americans can't afford a one-bedroom apartment. So the promise of having a home in exchange for your work sounds promising. But a company's entire motivation is profit. So in these company towns, the houses were not built to code. They were built shoddily. People died constantly for not getting adequate health care, for having substandard working conditions. And what eventually killed these company towns was Roosevelt's New Deal. When minimum wages were raised to be, a living wage, companies that once relied on underpaying their workers to stay out of the red failed. And workers no longer had to rely on companies for housing, as home ownership now had lower interest and lower deposit systems. But now wages have been stagnant for over 20 years, and we are struggling as a country. And instead of raising wages or making life more affordable for the average citizen, it's the return of company towns. So don't let their idyllic, pretty propaganda pictures fool you, because company towns are just one more way for the capitalist system to crush the American worker.